So I wanted to talk about Queen and Slim movie because I watched my favorite YouTubers talk about the movie and I was like, okay, let me do another video because that movie hit me so hard and I spoke about it in the first part 1 that I did about Queen and Slim, and I spoke about how the movie hit me and my boyfriend to the point where we woke up in the middle of the night and we were still thinking about that movie. We went out to eat right after the movie and we were shook. We walked out of that theater and everyone was talking about it, and I could tell that people were just as hurt as I was. And at dinner, I told my boyfriend that, I felt like it could have just been like I was expecting a fantasy. I was expecting to see them come through this, see them escape, because it was self-defense. The officer didn't have to shoot Queen, but Queen was the aggressor. She provoked the officer, which made him shoot her, and which made Slim just quickly react and jumped up and struggled with the officer, and then he ended up killing the officer. And afterwards, she was like, we gotta go. We just gotta go. And he followed. And then Slim was just like, I just want to go home. And she was like, you can't go home now. We gotta run. We just killed the officer. They're gonna kill us pretty much. So it was so hurtful because I thought about my son. Like, what if something was to happen to that extreme with him hanging with, and I always thought in my mind that him hanging with other guys would maybe cause something like that to happen, some type of situation where it's hard for him to think about what he want to do because he's influenced by others to do something else. But it made me think about how women can really manipulate a situation. I mean, Queen's personality was so strong. Like I said, she was the aggressor. She started everything from the shooting out. It was all her. All her. I credited everything that happened badly to Queen in the movie. Also, after the shooting, they didn't put gas in the car, so they had to pull over on the side of the road because the car ran out of gas and wave someone down for help. The guy they waved down, who was in a truck, and he ended up being the sheriff. So obviously, Slim didn't have any money. He only had money for the date. Obviously, Queen, being a lawyer, didn't have any dollars, because if the car run out of gas, the first thing I'm going to think to do is get my money and then maybe go walk in and get gas, or I wouldn't think to wave anyone down. I just wouldn't. I would just walk. But because I'm afraid of, being with someone like that sheriff, and then he take me back somewhere and hang my ass or drag me from a car. But anyway, so they didn't have any money or anything. So the sheriff not only gave them a ride to the gas station and was going to purchase a gas can to put gas in so that they could take it back to their car. He was going to buy gas for them because they didn't have any money. But he heard on his radio that it was a guy and a girl that had just shot a cop that was in a white car. And he remembered everything. They was in a white car. It's a guy and a girl. She looked like she's been hurt because she would not cover up her bullet shot wound, her wound. And she was bleeding everywhere. And she had on white. And it was like, and she had a long jacket on. It was like, girl, cover that shit up. Like, how you gonna be waving someone down and standing all like this and you all bleedy, you all bloody? that didn't make sense. And it was just terrible. Because I'm thinking she should have been a little bit more discreet in that. That pissed me off. But anyway, moving on. I'm talking about all the things that piss me off in the movie right now because, like I said, I listen to my favorite YouTubers talk about the movie, and now I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? Because I was confused about, did I like the movie? Did I hate the movie? I was just so disappointed. I was hurt from the movie, so I had to express this to my viewers. So, after that, Queen was like, she pulled the gun that they got from the cop on the sheriff, and she told him to get on the car. So he drove them back to their car, and Queen told him to get in the trunk of their car, which was really Slim's car, not their car, because they had just met. Real quick, if I go on a date for a first time with a person, I'm driving my own car. Who goes out on a date with someone and they picking you up? I understand people do it, but that's dangerous as hell. And if I'm ready to leave and he's not my type, or he's not anyone that I would want to be around, I can't just up and leave. I can't depend on him to just up and take me home. I wouldn't want to. I would drive my car. So, but he picked her up and took her out on a date, and he was on his way to take her home. Anyway, so Queen told the sheriff to get in the trunk. She didn't shoot him. She closed the trunk, and they got in his truck and they drove to her uncle's house. Now, what I just found out from Tariq Nasheed, he just said that the main chick that was Joaquin Woodbine or something, I think that's his name, I'm not sure. But he just said that the main chick was a transgender. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And I just watched Tariq Nasheed last night because he come on Sunday nights. And I was staying up late, so I was listening to him. And once my boyfriend came to bed, because he fell asleep on the couch from watching the game, I couldn't, I was so anxious to tell him. I'm always giddy. I was so anxious to tell him. So I told him that Tariq Nasheed said that was a transgender woman. And he was like, nah, I don't believe that. So I was like, because I respect my man's opinion, because he is awesome. And a lot of times he make a lot of good points that I hate to see, because I want to believe what I want to believe. And then I come to find out later on, it's like, oh, okay, I understand why he said what he said. And so I was like, let me look it up for myself, because I hate repeating stuff that I don't know for sure, right? And that was one of those things, especially to him, because my boyfriend don't believe nothing. And he's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. That's what he calls me. So he doesn't believe anything I say unless I Google it first and show him in a book or something. So I was like, let me look it up. So I looked it up, and come to find out, he is a transgender. And my boyfriend was like, why would they do that? Why would they put a transgender in there? And I'm like, why would they trick us like that? And I understand, and I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, because this is not really, it doesn't have anything to do with the movie, kind of. Why trick us and make us think that this man is a woman when it's really a man? I have a problem with that. So now I'm looking at it like, when Tariq said that, I was like, shady boots. They thought they was slick. That Lena chick is something serious. That director chick, I forgot her name, they something serious. I don't have nothing against what you do, how you do it. But I just don't believe in tricking people. I do not believe in tricking people. You should not trick me and make me feel like something is what it is and it's not. That's my stance on that. I'm going to let it go. So, they go to the uncle house, and the uncle said he got someone he knows someone that could help them, give them a place to sleep and help them get a plane, because he knows someone who can get them a plane and get them to Cuba. So they leave, and on the way there, they meet this young boy, and they have this good conversation with this young boy who's like, I just believe in y'all. I'm happy to see y'all do what y'all do. And he was like, I want to be like that. I want to stand for something. I want to live a legacy. And then while they're on the way to meet this guy that the uncle set them up with, they stop by this cemetery so that Queen could go see her mom, because her mom had passed because the uncle had killed the mom. So she wanted to stop by the cemetery, and she's speaking to the, what you call it, the headstone. And she's telling her mom, speaking to her mom, and she's saying, I wish I would have spent more time with you and gave you more time and, didn't mistreat you, stuff like that, right? So then they get in the car and she's crying. Now she's letting it all out. Now this is when it's like that bump. You ever had like a pimple and it's all built up from pus and shit? And it's real nasty inside, and when you bust it, it's going to be real nasty and shit, and you're going to need like a good bit of paper towel or tissue or something to soak all that shit up. So she was that bump, like ready to explode. And then after she went to the cemetery, she got in the car, she let it loose. She crying, now she's emotional, she's showing hurt and pain. She's showing that she can be a passionate woman versus just a hurt woman. So she's leaning on Slim, and she just let it all out. And they had sex, and I truly believe that's probably what she needed, some good dick. And she was riding the hell out of it, which I felt like, now they're still in the cemetery. That was weird. But I guess I understand. Where else were they going to go? That place was probably more secure than any place. Who would think that, they would be in a cemetery? So, I understand. Whatever. But, she had to they got butt ass naked to have sex in that car. And I just felt like it wasn't necessary. Excuse me. I hate to see women have to show all their body. We didn't see her vagina, thankfully. But we saw her nipples and her titties, and she has some pretty ass titties. And, we saw Slim's body a little bit. We only saw his ass, not even really his chest. But I hate the fact that we had to see her body, her nipples and titties. Like, what is that? He could have easily fucked her with her dress on, and she got on top of him and ride him. She had to take her bra off, her underwear, her dress. He had to take off his pants, his underwear, his t-shirt, his jacket. They had to take off everything. I was like, what the fuck? Why was that necessary? I hate this. I just hate to see. I hate to see them portray women like that. It feels cheap to me, and it's kind of degrading to me at the same time, because I feel like you can have a sex scene where I don't have to see your nipples and know what your nipples look like. But the girl body was beautiful. Very beautiful. And I don't go that way, but she had a beautiful body. But I just feel like they could have left that out. They didn't have to show them like that. Whatever. Anyway, so moving on. So while they're having sex, the boy that they met earlier, because their car broke down. So this guy, they went to the shop, took the car to the shop, and this guy, he was like, I know exactly who y'all are, but he said, I don't agree with y'all shooting a cop. So that's why I charge y'all full price. But it was self-defense. But we got certain black people like that in the community. I know we do, that feel like you just need to follow the rules. You just need to do whatever and don't stand up for yourself because that's the law. You should just abide by it. Even though I feel like other races don't abide by it. But we don't never talk about them. Anyway, so he let his son go walk with them. So they got to know the son. But while they were having sex, the son went to the rally that was supposed to be for them, in honor of them, because that whole community there, they understood that it was self-defense. So they wanted to show their support by protesting. So the young man, he walks up to this black officer, and the black officer is like, man, just go home. Okay. Just go home. Get out of here before you get hurt. They're going to arrest you. Get out of here. And he pulls out a gun and shoot the man. Why? Why did the black boy have to shoot the man? I've never, not once heard of anybody shooting an officer at a protest. Why do that? It made us look so bad. When that happened, I felt like somebody next to me got shot. I was so hurt. I was just like, what? Why would you do that? That's exactly how I was. I was in there and everybody around me was saying the same thing. We were all hurt in the movie theater. I mean, being very emotional. And my boyfriend was just like, what? What did that happen? Why? Why would he have to shoot an officer, black or white? Just cause the officer didn't do anything to him but tell him to go home before it gets bad out there, and then they have to lock him up. Oh my goodness, that hurt so bad. Then they were just doing dumb shit. Like, they shouldn't have stopped at the club. They shouldn't have. And then, the white people, the person that they uncle knew ended up being a white man. So they went to the white man's house and he was there with his wife. That was their house. And the house was set up supposed to be like I say Underground Railroad type situation. But I understand that because the guy was military, they probably wanted to make it seem like, because I watched movies before where military guys have little secret hiding places and stuff set up and have traps and stuff in their house, to protect themselves because they have that skill, so they use it. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. It seemed a little slavish because I keep calling it the Underground Railroad type situation. Because he told them to go upstairs once the police came, because the white neighbor across the street, she saw them walk in the house and she immediately called the police. And the white man told them to go upstairs under his bed. So they went under the bed and they automatically knew, I guess, that it was a little safe house type of situation going on. So they went up under pulled the boards up and then put the boards back on top. So it looked like just a regular floor. So the police looked up under the bed and they didn't see them because they were up under it. So then after that, they waited till the next day, and Queen talking about she hungry. First of all, okay, I ain't even mentioned this part. But right after they shot the cop and they stole the guy truck, the sheriff truck, and they on the road, they driving. I can't remember who said they were hungry first. I think it was Slim talking about he was hungry. I'm thinking to myself, damn, he just ate look like steak and a baked potato. Them was some hungry ass damn people. So he said he hungry. So they stopped over and they was like, they didn't have any money. So they checked in the car and the chef had some cash in there. So they got this little boy and he ended up being a fat black boy. And why did he have to be a fat black boy? It's just like a whole bunch of sneak diss in the movie, throughout the whole movie, and then some diss that's just very relevant, And I pay attention to everything, especially stuff like that, to, the roles of people, what type of character they have, their background and all, because Queen and Slim, neither one are American, but, just let that be said. So they ate then, because they got the boy to get them something to eat. So they ate then, and then after that, they went to go to the white man house, the Underground Railroad, and then she gonna get up from up under the ground, the floor, and talking about, I'm hungry, I gotta get up out of here, I'll die in here. Like, bitch, you ain't even been in there long enough to die. Oh my goodness. So she gets up and then he follows her, and then he's like, okay, well, they gotta be surrounding the house because they knew we came in. So she's like, well, we're jumping out the window. You just gotta jump out the window. So she jumped out the window first, dislocated her shoulder. So she's all hurt and shit. The officer heard her. No, not at this point. So he jumps down and he jumped on his feet just like she said that they should jump down. She said you should jump down on your feet, bend your knees, and then roll. Like when you jump down, then bend, then roll. That's what she said. So she jumped down and she didn't bend or roll. Her ass fell right on that damn shoulder. And then he jumped down right on his feet and bent his knees, rolled over. Then he picked her up and they went in the garage. And then he put her popped her shoulder back in place. So the the black officer that was in the front of the house, he heard someone scream, and he told this white officer who looked like his superior, he told him, he asked him, did he hear someone scream? And the white officer was like, well, boy, why don't you go check it out? Or he said something about him being a boy. So the black officer was like, I ain't your boy, first of all. And he was like, oh, we'll go find it out. He was just being real rude. And you could tell that. You can tell that from his interaction with that officer and the young boy who shot the black officer. You could tell from both those black officers that they have to, no matter, I'm not sure what their position was, but the black boy who was outside, the black officer who was outside of the house that they jumped out the window of, he seemed like him and the white officer were like probably on the same level. Both patrolmen or whatever, but because of the way he was talking to him, he was like, I'm not your boy. And the officer was like, oh, well, go look and see then. It's probably just some deer. And I don't know, for some reason, I believe that when white people reference deer, they're talking about black people. But anyway, that has nothing to do with it. So the black officer and that other black officer I was talking about, you can tell that they have to do certain things that they wouldn't normally want to do. They have to be people that they wouldn't normally want to be, but to keep their job and to be an officer, is certain things you got to do and you have to deal with. You can tell that, and I caught that from both of them. So, that's why I didn't understand why the black boy had to shoot the black officer, but whatever. So anyway, so when the black officer that was talking to the white guy went around to the garage and opened up the garage, he saw Queen and Slim in the car. They already had the car started because they cranked it up. So if you watch part 1 and 2, I already tell the parts of the story. Now I'm just talking about all the bad things that I just didn't like. So he was still pissed at that white guy. So he nodded at them like, yeah, y'all go ahead. So they pulled right on out and they left. But on their way, they were riding a horse and shit. Like, they stopped on the side of the road at one point. I don't think it was right after this, but at one point, Queen wanted to stop on the side of the road and ride a horse because she saw horses, and she wanted to ride the white horse. And it's something about that white horse. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know. I was waiting on someone to say something about it. But it was a white horse, and he was just standing there looking. He had his head over the gate. And she pulled over and went right up to him. And she's rubbing him. And then Slim is like, leave that horse alone. And she's like, you never rode a horse before? I used to ride horses or whatever. And she was like, you just got to do it. Just do it. So he gets on the horse and he's riding the horse. And then I guess the owner sees them and he's like, hey, get off my horses. Get off my horses. So they run and jump back in the car. And then they keep on driving. So that was stupid. Who the fuck does that? I see horses all the time. I'm not that drawn to a horse. And then there's something about that being the white horse and the black guy sitting on the white horse, because Queen said something about someone telling her dad or someone telling her that the worst thing that white men don't like to see black men on a horse because they have to look up to them. So Slim thought it was okay for him to get on the horse because she made that comment, even though it wasn't a white man around looking up to him. And the white man that came out and said, hey, get off my horses, he jumped off that horse real quick and ran. Weird. So then after that, another stupid thing they did was Slim was driving and Queen... You see white people do it in movies. Queen went out the window while the car was going because she had the window all the way down and Slim's driving. So she's sitting on the window and she's hanging out the window like, oh, it feels so good. I feel so free. What? That shit didn't make no sense. Why would you do that? So then, not only did she do that, she convinced Slim that he needs to live his best life and do that shit too. So she pulls over, he gets out the window, and he does that. And it didn't make a bit of damn sense. Me and my boyfriend was like, who the fuck does that? Crazy. Just craziness. Oh my goodness. So then... After that, they get to the place where they're supposed to meet the guy with the plane. And, of course, it's nighttime. No one's there. And the place where they met him at, or were supposed to meet him, didn't make sense. It was by a body of water. I'm not sure if that was the ocean or if that was the lake. I'm not sure what the hell that was. But they pulled up there at night. So I'm thinking, where the guy at? He should have been aware that they were coming. Because the guy already had it set up when they got there. The white man already had it set up. And I was wondering, like, why they had to put that white man in there and have him be the guy that get them to where they need to be. Even though it didn't work out. Because they didn't ask the question. So Queen done been strong the whole movie. Just about. She done been rebellious. She done been, big-headed, aggressive. Well, not really aggressive. But she had everything to say except for when they both fell asleep at that spot where they were waiting on the guy with the plane. And then this black guy with gold fronts and I think he had a whole grill. Anyway, this black guy with the grill wakes them up with a shotgun. Now all of a sudden she don't want to ask no damn questions. I'm thinking like, okay, somebody need to be asking some questions. But they ain't asked nothing really. They were pretty much trusting. Slim told her to hush and she hushed. So I guess that good dick brought her back to life and made her realize she was a woman. So she ain't have nothing to say. After she changed, her demeanor changed. Like, it went from the complete opposite of what she was the beginning of the movie. After they had sex. It's weird. So now, when usually she questions, she's the aggressor, she's asking all the questions and everything. She barely asks any questions. She asked a couple and she let it go. She ain't asked no more. It was like she was tired. And I'm thinking, why she ain't asked more questions? She been aggressive throughout the whole movie, or vocal throughout the whole movie. Now she ain't saying that. Now she ain't got shit to say. And she was the one, this was her plan. So she had to be on top of her game the whole time. She couldn't expect him to take over. She started it. This was her show. She was supposed to end it. We already knew that wasn't in him. That wasn't his character. It wasn't his personality to do anything out of the norm, because he was actually like a Christian, straight up Christian. And she said she didn't believe in that Christianity or God. So it was odd that she let the Christian, the weaker person, take over and handle the situation as if he knew how to handle the situation. Anyway, so that's how they end up getting caught, because she let him boost her up to not ask any questions, and then she didn't, and then, that's how they got killed. Terrible. Terrible. And then the black guy, he boosting their head up the whole time. He like, yeah, I look up to y'all. Everyone out here is rooting for y'all. And then what he do? But turn them in to get the money. And it's so, that's what they do. We know people like that in our community. We know people like that. But to see that in that movie, it hurt like hell, because I seriously wanted to see them get through that and make it out of that. I wanted to see them be like a shot of secure and get to Cuba. I wanted to see someone rescue them and help them out of that situation. But they didn't give us that. And that was very upsetting. And I know I probably missed some things. That's just all I can think about right now. But, oh my goodness. I'm going to try not to make a part 4 to this movie. But I had to do this one because I feel like they could have gave us that fantasy. They could have showed us so much more, just like the Black Panther movie. I was so disappointed after the Black Panther movie. Oh my goodness. I might do a late review for that. But I was just very disappointed. And I wanted to stress that after having spoke with other people. Listened to other people who saw the movie and heard their opinion. I had to do a part 3. So yeah, so that's it. If you have any comments, you understand where I'm coming from. If I missed something and you want to make a comment as to something I missed, state your opinion, then leave a comment below and let me know. And I will definitely reach out in the comment section and respond. All right, thank you.